12th meeting of the Lane Transit District Board of Directors. This is a special meetings that we're having today. We'll start with roll call. Susan Cox.
Present.
Pete Knox.
Here.
Kelly Sutherland.
Here.
Lawrence Green.
Here.
Michelle Weber.
Here.
Heather Murphy. Thank you all. We'll start with public comment. Do we have anybody signed up for public comment? No. Anybody in the audience for public comment?
No.
Great. Any board reports? Quiet group today. We'll break the silence with the CEO report.
Okay, good afternoon, board. Just one topic today. I'm going to invite Mike Hirsch to come up and speak. Mike is our new Chief Operating Officer, has extensive experience in the industry and specifically on this topic as well. We have about 30% of our fleet are battery electric vehicles, and we wanted to have a conversation around our experience with those. I know that the board adopted a policy to use alternative fuels, battery electric being one of those as well. However, one of the biggest things that we found that we can do to impact climate goals is to actually grow ridership, get the conversion from vehicles onto buses, regardless of the propulsion system that they use. So we kind of wanted to share what our experience has been, some of the challenges that we see, and then we'll come back to the board later on with a plan to address, but we wanted to share this with you. So I'll turn it over to Mike.
Thank you, CEO Otten. Good afternoon. As was introduced, Mike Hirsch, I'm your Chief Operating Officer in my 6th week. Be gentle, please. Today, I will be briefing you on our experience operating and maintaining zero-emission battery buses. We currently have 30 New Flyer electric buses. As Jameson commented, this is almost 30% of our fleet. That's a very high number for any fleet in the United States right now. For some history, in 2017, Lane Transit District made its first attempt to integrate battery electric buses into its fleet, spending $4 million on 5 electric BYD, stands for Build Your Dreams, a Chinese company bus manufacturer. After 2 years of issues, lack of vendor support, and very limited revenue service time, these buses were ultimately returned to the manufacturer. BYD has since essentially been banned from selling transit buses in the U.S. due to Buy America requirements. The good news is, fortunately, LTD was able to recoup the $4 million from that first venture. Challenges with transition to battery buses is not unique to LTD. Both Reno, Nevada and Albuquerque, New Mexico returned significant number of buses, and even in California with the 2040 mandate to transition all buses. Most agencies are discussing slowing plans while the struggle with the high capital costs, lack of grid capacity, and range anxiety continue to grow. In keeping with LTD's commitment to reduce our carbon footprint, 11 battery buses were purchased from New Flyer in 2019, followed by 19 more New Flyer battery buses in 2021, costing close to $30 million. It should be noted that since we made our purchase, the availability of manufacturers has been cut in half, with BYD banned, Proterra and Eldorado going out of business, leaving essentially Gillig in California and New Flyer in Anniston, Alabama as the currently only viable suppliers. And the average battery bus price has increased 30 to 35% since the pandemic. It's basically $1.3 million for a battery bus compared to $800,000 or $900,000 for a diesel bus. We coincidentally had a meeting with Gillig this morning, and they informed us in addition to normal producer price index increases, we can expect a 2 to 4% tariff increase for the next buses we purchase. Today, an average of approximately half, nearly 17 of the LTD battery fleet is not available for service on any given day. As many as 23 buses have been down at one time. The most we've ever had available for service on one day is 25. Hiring, training, and building proficiency to our mechanics is one of our greatest challenges. It's very rare to hire a transit bus mechanic. It's even rarer to find a battery zero-emission bus mechanic or technician. I want to talk a little bit about range variation. On hot and cold days, the bus has much different traveling distances. Imagine your family vacation. One day you fuel your car, you can go 300 miles on a normal day. The next day, a cold or hot day, you can only go 80 or 90 miles with that same amount of fuel in your tank. That is incredibly difficult to schedule reliable public transit with those challenges. Defects that drive bus downtimes have consistently been related to the electric propulsion system issues. And again, that's not unique to Lane Transit. That's what we see in the industry. We've had a lot of problems with batteries. We've replaced 32 individual batteries since operating the New Flyer buses. Diagnosing, replacing, and balancing a high voltage battery is a very time consuming effort, as there are 35 to 42 individual batteries depending on the year of manufacturer for the bus. Even with improvements, downtime for this defect is excessive. Congratulations and kudos to the LTD team, who has recently been able to improve repair time for defective batteries significantly from an average of 6 weeks down to an average of 2 weeks. This was done through the procurement of specialized battery test equipment at a cost of $50,000. However, 2 weeks is a long time for a bus to be out of service. Even with the improvement, it's still hamstringing our ability to provide all the buses necessary for a day of service. The batteries are warranted for 12 years, but because we use federal dollars, the buses are required to operate for 12 years of service. There's another issue we challenge, which is essentially the equivalent of a check engine light in your car. You can go to the maintenance shop and have that scanned. For us, we are required to use a data logger and operate the bus for 2 to 4 hours, and then send those data logs to New Flyer, which sometimes can take multiple days to the engineers to analyze the data. Sometimes they need more data. From the days of an original combustion engine bus to now, there are a minimum of 18 microprocessors on your typical zero emission bus. Troubleshooting alone can take 1 to 3 days. Looking ahead, New Flyer is still modifying the system. We were notified of a recall affecting 5 of our buses just this week. Essentially, these buses are an in-service research and development project. Gillig has been very late to the market. Time will tell. Capital costs remain extremely high, and we were told today that if we purchase a battery bus from Gillig, the lead time is a minimum of 2 years. The more types of buses from a technology perspective, the more parts we have to have in stock, and newer technology parts tend to take longer to procure. Finally, the challenges of the zero-emission fleet has required us to hold on to older buses and maintain a larger fleet in order to sustain service. This hits us with associated labor capacity issues and higher parts labor cost issues. This concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions, comments? Pete?
Thank you. It's some interesting things I've been reading about some of the challenges other transit agencies have been having with battery electric buses, and I want to kind of understand some of the problems that we're having a little bit better. So the battery packs on the bus are multiple battery cells, is that correct?
Correct.
So if one of those goes down, the whole thing goes down, is that?
Depending on the severity of the failure in that individual cell, the entire bus can go down, or at a minimum, you get degraded performance, again, leading to range anxiety. In the industry, there have also been a problem with batteries lighting off. There are several transit agencies that have lost multiple buses due to fires in the battery compartment.
Fire is not good. And then you say the propulsion system, I assume it's one or a series of electric motors, is that correct?
I'll have to check with our team on these buses. I believe we have 4 traction motors, 1 per axle.
No, we just have one traction.
One traction motor. There's 2 technologies out there. Some put individual traction motors per axle. Mr. Evers is telling us that we have 1 traction motor, which is then connected to a gearbox similar to a transmission and drive axle.
So it's unreliable because one of the points of failure is that electric motor?
in my experience, electric motors have not been the failure. It's been inverter and battery cell challenges. And then again, various microprocessors that will throw a fault code and have to be sent to the manufacturer. And they give us magic things to say, change this component without really understanding, again, because of proprietary technology, what's failed on that particular component or board.
Okay, I get it. So it's the battery and the delivery of the power to the system. That's the real point of failure.
Correct. And I should share, I'm new to the state of Oregon. I just spent 32 years in California. In California, we can't even get the electricity to charge the buses. So you're blessed here having the availability of electricity, but you still have the range anxiety because of the weather swings that we experience here.
One more question for you. We have a federal requirement for how many buses we keep in service?
Any bus that is procured with federal dollars is required to operate for 12 years. If you don't operate it for 12 years, you have to repay the remaining federal interest back to the Federal Transit Administration. There's no federal requirement for zero emission buses, and I don't foresee one, at least for the next 4 years.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Other comments? So the timeline again, we bought the first buses what year?
2017 and 2019.
And when did we start experiencing?
From day one.
From day one.
From day one. In fact, New Flyer is still here. The buses are still under warranty, and much of the warranty work is done by New Flyer technicians.
I know you weren't here, but I wonder why we continued to purchase problematic buses.
Yeah, I can speculate on that. The battery electric industry in particular really did an excellent job of marketing to policymakers, and they were just blatantly, I'll say it, dishonest about the range. And then as soon as we saw large fleets getting delivered, Albuquerque and Reno are two examples, the truth came out. Now the truth is out. Even in California with the 2040 mandate, they're all looking, and I just came from an agency that was the leader in zero emission. We're all looking for ways to back off because of just the cost, yet the reliability, and for an agency of our size, 30% is far too many.
Where do we go from here? Susan?
Do I remember at one point, one of the buses caught fire and burned before it even was delivered?
That
I'm
happened there.
making that up.
Yeah, that happened at New Flyer.
Sobering.
To your question, Gino, one, the last bus procurement this board approved was for diesel vehicles. And we use renewable diesel, which is R99, which falls into is in compliance with the alternative fuels as well. We're going to look to see how we can reduce the percentage of electric buses in our fleet. Mike mentioned several times California has a mandate. We've started to reach out to different agencies in California to see if there's any interest in the buses that we have and having us replace those with diesel vehicles. Again, that 30% number is very high. To answer your question, I don't know the decision in 19 or 21 to go with that percentage. But we do know that it's been problematic to make service, and really have to give hats off to Eric's maintenance team over there making that magic happen, because we do make service. It's just incredibly hard. So we're going to kind of sniff the industry a little bit and see if there's some interest, and if we can increase our percentage of diesel buses using the R99 to remain in compliance. We think that would be a good solution.
Well, thank you. I know it's never easy to deliver news like that, but I think it's refreshing to know that we have staff that are willing to admit that we've taken the wrong path and we need to take a different path. So thank you all.
Thank you.
I have a question. I mean, is there any recourse? Do we have any recourse with the, it just seems with the sort of dishonesty and the failing equipment, and
I don't want to mischaracterize the buses we have. The industry's realized and has been much more transparent about what the buses are able to do. We actually have what I consider very valuable asset because Mr. Evers' team has done such a good job maintaining them because they're still they have warranty for a few months left. Mm-hmm. And because the price of buses has gone up 35%, I think we actually have a hidden opportunity here that we're trying to explore.
Oh, so and tried to, sell or offload the buses quickly. I mean, it sounds like it would make sense to be able to do it before the warranty expires, but you're saying it's only a couple more months?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Lawrence, did you have any questions or comments?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you. With that, we'll move on to the consent agenda. There are 3 items on there.
I would like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
So moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Okay, I'll do roll call. Susan?
Yes.
Pete?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Lawrence?
Yes.
Michelle?
Yes.
And I also vote yes. Passes unanimously. Thank you all. Next item is regarding the sale of some property to the YMCA. We do have Brian from the YMCA here. I don't know if you want to make any comments before we have a discussion or introduce any of your team. Sure. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, members of the board. I'm Brian Steffen, CEO at the Eugene Family YMCA, and we are thrilled to have this opportunity to have this discussion and spend some time with you today. Here also with the YMCA, we have 3 of our board members, Rich Clark and Chip Radabaugh and Clark Wallen, C.W. Wallen. And so thank you all for being here. And we've been excited about this opportunity for a while. The YMCA has been in Lane County serving Eugene for a long time, since 1887. And over all of those years, we've had a lot of iterations and expansions of our work. The most significant one took place when we opened our new Y in December 2023. And since that point, Monday of this week, we hit 900,000 visits since we've opened. We have almost 19,000 members. And we've been working as an organization really thoughtfully around the topic of how do we expand the WISE programs more broadly throughout the community and look for ways to serve more neighborhoods. We know that households that have to travel more than 10 or 12 minutes to a YMCA are significantly less likely to have the health and education goals that they're focusing on. And with that vision, we started looking at the community to understand those populations and neighborhoods we were providing the least service in. And very quickly, the Santa Clara River Road area was one that was apparent for us, where only about 4.5% of our members live in those neighborhoods. And that led us to discussions today where we've been talking with LTD about this opportunity. And so I'll turn off my mic, but I'm happy to answer any questions as you have your discussion.
Introduce the topic, please.
I do. So this is a action for adoption of resolution to authorize the sale of the Hunsaker property to the YMCA. This has been a good conversation, and we're in a very good place. This opportunity not only repurposes a valuable asset to a community that needs it, but is directly in alignment with the adopted neighborhood plans that were worked on since 2017 with both the Santa Clara Neighborhood Association and the River Road Neighborhood Association, and adopted in 2024. So a lot of work has been done This also is in alignment with the city of Eugene's desire to reduce car commutes. The location of this property is right next to our Santa Clara station. This was part of the purchase to build Santa Clara Station in 2015. So this is almost transit. We're in a development in reverse. So it's almost in reverse, and that's a good thing for the community. I'd also point out that YMCA is much more than a place to go lift weights and get on the treadmill like Ani does every morning. It's a place of community. We can go down there today and spend time in their community room. I've been down there several times, and I see people do it. You can have coffee down there. You can, it's a child care center. I encourage you to tour it, but it's more than just treadmills and weights. And this is something that community has been asking for, is a community center to be able to gather and associate. So the term sheet is attached. It's for a option to purchase for just over $4 million. The highlights are in that paper in your packet, and be happy to answer any questions.
So before we move to that, we did have a subcommittee, Susan, Michelle, and Kelly. Do any of you have any comments?
I would just say that from the first time that we met, there was a real, I think, feeling of connectedness between what the Y is doing and what LTD is trying to do. It seemed like a very, very good fit. And as we moved along, it's been very satisfying. So look forward to it happening. So
I would ditto Susan's remarks.
Thank you. Michelle?
Yeah, I echo those remarks, and I just want to thank everyone who was involved in the negotiations. We had some questions on each side as we were kind of working through this, and I just appreciate everybody's efforts to get us to this place. Having worked at a YMCA back in my younger days, I'm excited to see this. I think it's going to be really good for the community.
Any other questions or comments? Pete?
Thank you. Thanks for coming, Brian. Really appreciate you giving us your rundown. It's a long time Y member myself. I really like the new facility in South Eugene, and look forward to something in the River Road area, which is truly underserved. I know that the Y many years ago had thought of having a North Eugene or West Eugene second home, if you will. So as a Y member and a LTD board member, I think this is great for both organizations, and if you guys get to be able to have a facility next to our transit station, I think it will be great for both of us. So thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll entertain a motion. Thanks, background. Go ahead.
I move to adopt resolution number 2025-03-12-09, authorizing the CEO to enter into an agreement with the YMCA for the sale of the Hunsaker property on certain terms.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. We'll do a roll call vote. Susan?
enthusiastically, yes.
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes, and I don't know what that is. It's not me, whatever that noise is.
Lawrence?
Yes.
Michelle?
Yes.
And I also vote yes. Congratulations to everyone.
Well, thank you so much. We're grateful for your support and the communication. From here, one of the things I wanted to share is that as a YMCA, we're part of a rich national network of partners that can specialize in helping communities build new facilities. In October, our board had executed a contract with the national YMCA development partner named Grow Development for $250,000. And Grow now will start working with us to really do intentional community listening sessions and community engagement sessions so that when we build the YMCA in the River Road, Santa Clara area, they can feel that it's a true community hub for them that reflects their needs around health, social engagement, community building, and youth mentoring programs. And so we're thrilled by this opportunity and thank you for your support.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other business? With that, we're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.